that director, filmmaker, actor Rob Reiner is no longer with us. That is a truly sad day. And not only is he not with us, but murdered in his own home with his wife.
To the crime scene, we will conduct a full, thorough, and impartial investigation. We will conduct additional investigations in the neighborhood around this area. And then with that information, we will go forward with the investigation, whether it is a death investigation or some other type of investigation.
Something unsettling unfolded at Rob Reiner's Los Angeles home, and the speed at which this story spread had less to do with confirmed danger and far more to do with uncertainty. When police activity is linked to a familiar name, people do not wait for details. They assume the worst. Sirens, patrol vehicles, and the absence of official explanation create a vacuum that fear rushes to fill. In this case, what people did not know became more powerful than what had actually been confirmed, turning a limited police response into a national talking point within hours. Before we go any further, I want to pause and hear from you. When you see breaking news involving a celebrity home and police presence, do you trust the first headline you read, or do you wait for verified information from authorities? Share your thoughts in the comments, and tap the like button if you prefer calm explanations over panic-driven speculation.
Why are you not exactly looking for a suspect? Are you confident you know who did this? We have not identified a suspect at this time.
Well, then shouldn't you be looking for one so these neighbors aren't worried about their own lives and their own safety?
Yeah, so if this...
What has been publicly acknowledged so far is simple. The Los Angeles Police Department responded to a call connected to Rob Reiner's property. Officers arrived, secured the scene, and addressed the situation. There were no emergency alerts issued to the public, no press conference, and no immediate statements describing criminal activity. That restraint is significant. In situations involving serious public danger, authorities usually move quickly to warn or reassure the community. Here, they did not. The language surrounding this incident matters. Many outlets have referred to it as a home scare, not an attack, not a crime, and not a confirmed emergency. A scare suggests concern or uncertainty rather than verified harm. In high-profile Los Angeles neighborhoods, police responses can stem from many causes, including alarms, welfare checks, or precautionary calls that turn out to be misunderstandings. Without context, those responses can look dramatic, especially when a famous name is attached. What escalated anxiety almost immediately was the lack of detail. When authorities remain quiet in the early stages of an incident, speculation moves fast. Social media filled the gap with theories, supposed insider claims, and exaggerated interpretations. None of those early narratives were supported by law enforcement. Still, repetition gave them weight. When people encounter the same rumor repeatedly, it begins to feel credible, even when there is no evidence behind it.
Like Rob Reiner, man, iconic filmmaker. Had a lot of probably legendary from his early years as in comedy. Created and Carl Reiner's dad created and started Dick Van Dyke's show. He was following in such legendary footsteps, but my goodness, he was no joke.
Rob Reiner's public profile intensified everything. He is not just a private homeowner. He is a well-known figure whose name carries decades of recognition. That visibility changes the way stories are perceived. A situation that might remain local or unnoticed at another address becomes national news when linked to someone famous. In moments like this, the identity attached to the home often overshadows the reality of what occurred there. Another detail that caught attention was the visible police presence. Multiple vehicles and officers can appear alarming to neighbors or passersby, especially when viewed without context. However, law enforcement responses are often scaled based on location and profile, not just threat level. High visibility properties may receive a larger response to ensure control, discretion, and safety, not because the situation is more dangerous. Equally important is what has not been confirmed. There have been no official reports of injuries. No arrests have been announced. No statements suggesting an ongoing risk to the public. In incidents involving serious danger, those details usually surface quickly. Their absence strongly suggests that the situation did not escalate beyond initial concern.
And I do want to be clear, hold on, I want to be clear with one thing. Wherever we can be transparent and provide information to the public, we will release it as soon as we can.
Hollywood history plays a powerful role in shaping public reaction to stories like this. Over the years, real tragedies have occurred behind the gates of celebrity homes, and those memories linger in the public mind. When police appear at a famous address, people instinctively connect it to past incidents, even when there is no factual link. That emotional association fuels fear faster than facts can calm it. Privacy is another critical factor. Not every police response becomes a public case. If a call involves a personal matter, a misunderstanding, or a non-criminal issue, authorities often choose discretion. Silence in those situations is not about hiding information. It is about protecting the individuals involved from unnecessary exposure, especially when there is no public risk. Behind the scenes, police responses follow a structured process. Officers verify the reason for the call, assess whether any laws were broken, and determine whether further action is needed. If the situation resolves without incident, there may be no follow-up announcement. The story simply ends quietly, which can feel unsettling to audiences accustomed to dramatic conclusions. This incident highlights a broader issue in how breaking news is consumed. Speed often matters more than accuracy. Headlines are pushed out quickly while nuance is lost. Once a dramatic narrative forms, it spreads rapidly even when built on incomplete information. By the time verified details appear, many people have already decided what they believe happened.
You are celebrating head to toe tonight.
Well,
Come on.
shameless promotion. That's what we've got here.
That gap between what is known and what is assumed is where fear grows fastest. In situations like this, silence from authorities is often interpreted as something sinister, when in reality it usually means there is nothing the public needs to act on. Law enforcement does not rush to explain every call they respond to, especially when the matter involves privacy, personal safety, or issues that do not rise to the level of criminal concern. Another reason these stories escalate so quickly is familiarity. Audiences feel like they know public figures even when they do not. Seeing a recognizable name attached to police activity triggers an emotional response that would not exist if the same situation happened to an unknown person. That emotional connection makes people feel invested, worried, and eager for answers, even when there is no clear indication that something serious occurred. It is also worth noting how often similar incidents quietly resolve without ever becoming headlines. Police respond to thousands of calls every day that never turn into crimes, investigations, or news stories. The difference here is attention. Fame turns ordinary procedures into extraordinary narratives, even when the underlying facts remain routine. As time passes, the absence of new information becomes meaningful. In genuinely dangerous situations, updates tend to follow quickly. Arrests are announced. Warnings are issued. Details are clarified. When none of that happens, it usually signals that the situation has stabilized or concluded without consequence. Silence, in those cases, is not a red flag. It is closure. This does not mean curiosity is wrong. It means patience is necessary. Jumping to conclusions may satisfy the desire for instant answers, but it often creates unnecessary fear. Waiting for verified information may feel slow, but it is the only approach that respects both the facts and the people involved. Stories like this reveal more about how information spreads than about the incident itself. They show how quickly speculation can overshadow reality, and how easily narratives form in the absence of confirmation. Once those narratives take hold, correcting them becomes difficult, even when the truth is far less dramatic. At this point, the most responsible takeaway remains unchanged. LAPD responded to a situation at Rob Reiner's home. They addressed it, and there has been no confirmed indication of serious criminal activity connected to the incident. Everything else exists in the space between curiosity and assumption. As more time passes, the likelihood increases that this situation will quietly fade from attention. That outcome does not mean the story was ignored or hidden. It means it likely resolved without harm. These endings are common, even if they do not generate headlines or satisfy speculation. Moments like this are a reminder to slow down how breaking news is consumed. Not every alert signals danger. Not every police response leads to scandal. Sometimes the calmest explanation is also the most accurate, even if it feels anticlimactic. If additional details are released in the future, they should be evaluated based on what is confirmed, not on early fears or viral rumors. Context matters, verification matters, and restraint matters, especially when real people and private lives are involved. In an era driven by speed and reaction, choosing patience is often the hardest option, but it is also the one that prevents misinformation from becoming belief. Waiting does not mean ignoring a story. It means respecting the process that brings facts to light. If you want clear, level-headed coverage of developing stories without exaggeration or panic, make sure to subscribe, share your thoughts in the comments, and stay connected for future updates grounded in verified information rather than speculation.